Great morning, great morning, great morning, Houston, downtown, midtown, 3rd Ward, and 5th Ward. So excited to be on the air with you today. Please, please, please remember, please be reminded that you can catch the amazing 102.5 FM if you're in the downtown area. You can also find us on our YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Make sure you've downloaded our free KMAZ app. I am really excited about the guest that I have in the studio with me today, but I'm going to go ahead and share a little bit about this guest. Give me a second here. Is that okay?
Oh, absolutely.
Are you okay with that?
I'm okay with that.
She is the president and CEO of Collaborative for Children since 2018, enhances early learning systems for under-resourced children. She previously achieved a Smithsonian affiliate status at the Health Museum and received the Nancy Hanks Award while at Space Center Houston. She is transformative. She is optimistic. She is relentless. She is Dr. Melanie Johnson. Great morning.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me here.
I'm very glad to have you in the studio with us today. And these are just some of the achievements that I've mentioned here with our listening audience. But if you could, for someone who is just hearing about you for the very first time, tell us just a little bit more about you.
Well, I'll tell you, I grew up in a little small town, Tuskegee, Alabama, in the South, and I thought I would do nothing related to education because the school system was not as successful as I thought it should be. Mm-hmm. So I thought I'm going to stay away from this. My mother was a teacher as well, but I ended up in a career of transformational education. That's why I love when you list the 3 adjectives that describe me. Transformational is definitely one. So I like to work outside of the traditional school arena in museums because those are the best educational platforms for teaching children where they're not only hands-on but body-on, full experiential. And I love to give children the opportunities that they desire in unorthodox ways because the ways we've used historically obviously have not worked.
Mm-hmm. Was there any personal, relation in your past that kind of helps you really connect to this space? Is there anything that you could share with us that kind of lets us see, hey, this is something that you might have experienced in your past, or maybe as a family member or something?
Yes, my mother was an educator for nearly 40 years, and an early educator at that. She taught the same grade, first grade, for 38 years in the South. And I saw how little respect and acknowledgement and, of course, pay teachers were able to receive. So I did everything I could to avoid that. I went to Auburn University. I studied international business and French. Then I went to, and I wanted to compound that with a graduate degree here in Houston at the Conrad Hilton School and do international hotels. I just wanted to do something that was completely opposed to being an educator. Then I had these 2 beautiful sons, and I ended up working in the schools and substituting for them. And I saw how children had kind of neurodivergent learning capacities, and I wanted to assist them. And when they would go to the next class, I saw that teachers needed more strength in those areas. And I saw a lot of challenges, especially with children of color, children from low-income communities, that weren't able to reach their full opportunities because of the ways in which we were teaching them. So museums just ignited the way. I mean, the power of being able to run through literally an educational laboratory and just push buttons and dive into things made me really excited about my journey at Space Center Houston as well as the Health Museum.
That's so interesting. Like, I literally brought myself to a time, you know how they used to bring the planetarium to your school? And you kind of like crawl in those little...
Oh, I know. We did that, yes.
You know, I'm showing it, but I'm like thinking it in my head.
Because that memory's so strong,
It
right?
is.
Rather than someone saying, open the textbook to page 9, we're going to study the planets. Bring the planetarium to the children, and then they will not only study the planets, but they'll be lifelong learners like yourself.
So you do this with a Space Center where you were.
Yes.
Was it easy to have the kids come, or like, were there any challenges that people like say, no, we're just not interested at this time? Like, tell me a little bit about the challenges in kind of connecting these young people to the space, or was everyone just interested and on board? I mean, as someone who is bringing this to the forefront, did you incur any challenges in making this possible for young people?
Yeah, I think there were a few challenges. While the Space Center, NASA, is available to everyone to visit, my passion is outliers. So it's girls in STEM who are underrepresented in that area. It's children who are underperforming, children of color, children of poverty, who don't have immediate access to these kinds of opportunities or learning opportunities and experiences. So my team and I devised, opportunities for girls to come. There's a program called Diva Design. I think it still exists down there at NASA. It has a different name, I'm sure. But it was for girls to learn to not just be astronauts, but all the other ancillary fields that are support for astronauts or for support for traveling into space. So that's how we were able to encourage people to come, because we had niche areas of support.
And then how do we get to Collaborative for Children? Tell me a little bit about that, you becoming president. Tell me a little bit about that, how you decided to make the decision to play a larger space in this.
Yes, so if anything could lure me out of the museum, educating the populace, would be to start at the beginning. If you're going to solve any problem, any challenge, we would do a root cause analysis, right? We do a why analysis, and we just keep asking, well, what happened at the beginning? Well, to start from ages birth to 5, to support children in their learning journey before it ever even happens, before they even reach kindergarten, and prepare them for school. That's just the most, I don't know a better platform for being effective in doing this work than to start at the beginning. So Collaborative for Children, working with children ages birth to 5, making sure they have optimal learning experiences in child care centers across the greater Houston area. That is incredible work.
How do you know it's effective?
Because we measure what matters. And that has been a conundrum for many of state and government kinds of support. It's more about outputs instead of outcomes. And Collaborative for Children is dedicated to outcomes. Is the child better prepared for kindergarten than they were without having our support? So we measure, and now we see that 93% of the children are demonstrating progress towards school readiness outcomes that we serve. And that's nearly 4,000, 5,000 children that we're serving, ages birth to 5.
Are there any success stories that stand out to you for any young person that has experienced Collaborative for Children, the support that you guys give? Is there anyone that stands out to you today?
I think if there's anyone who stands out, it's a little fella who had some behavioral challenges. And to watch him enter that classroom with teachers who are not equipped, right? Because in the state of Texas, excuse me, the teacher's only required to have 24 hours of training to teach in the early childhood classroom, while 90% of the brain is being developed between ages birth to 5. So when I watch this little fella, rocking and crying and being disruptive just because that's all he knew, those are the only tools he had, and after training and coaching those teachers and coming back to that child care center and seeing this child, just literally adapt and learn and play and be self-directed and self-governed, that was just the most beautiful thing in the world.
This is great.
It is great. It is great. I promise I love it. Every day I love it.
They say you've got to do what you love. And I understand where you came from with Space Center Houston. I understand now that you're the president of Collaborative for Children. What makes you love this? Your boys, they're young, or how old are your boys?
They're old as dirt now. Yeah, they were young when I started this journey 30-something years ago, but now they are 30 and 25.
Why do you love what you do with Collaborative for Children?
I've always been passionate about children, but I'm certainly passionate about opportunities. I've traveled a lot. I've seen children in China under banana leaves out in the banana groves, and their parents are working the farms. And I look at the children, and they know that they are growing up to be a banana picker as well. And while that is very productive for the community, I wonder if they had opportunities and exposure to other, avenues outside of the community, what they would have when they go to Tanzania and places like that. I see the same kinds of limited exposure. So right here on our own American soil, when I see that and I have an opportunity to do something about it and make sure that the community in which I live is upskilled as a result of the work that we do, it makes me, feel as if that I can get up and do it again every single day.
I would also add curious to your list of words to describe you.
Thank you.
And-
Why so?
That's important, right? If you're
Yes.
really wanting to make real change and, fill voids and, impact communities in a way that also provides generational wealth, even from the start of from 0 to 5 years old or 5th grade. You've got to be curious. You've got to want to wonder why is this happening and why isn't you see that it's different in one place than it is in the other. So what kind of change can you possibly make? And people may even say that, what kind of change can I actually make in something like this,
You've got to probe deeper and look at, what are the obstacles? What are the barriers? You're right. Curiosity, I'd add as well. Yes.
Mhm. Now, you guys have got an upcoming luncheon happening in September, resources for families. Tell me a little bit about that and who can come, why should people come, and what can they expect when they attend?
Yes, well, the luncheon is September 26th, is our annual Building Blocks Luncheon. It's at River Oaks Country Club, and it's a great opportunity to get to know about, more about the work that we do, but also to support the work that we do. Our tickets are on sale online at collab4children.org. And it's just going to be a great event. And I'll tell you a little secret, a little inside secret about the luncheon, is it's really focused on our ability to bring artificial intelligence to this work, to bring really cutting edge technologies like robots, like Pepper and Now, that are low sensory stimulating for children on the spectrum that are in the classrooms that we serve. And they also extract data. If a child knows their alphabets and their sounds, it can read that data and send it directly to the data hub, assisting teachers who might come and go. That robot is there still with they're the constant, basically, still collecting data and interacting with children. So that's what the theme of that luncheon will be about, and I think it will be inspirational for all of Houstonians.
What do you think parents can do? What can parents do at home to help their 0 to 5-year-old,
Yes.
advance? And I know their teachers don't have as much training and things like that, but what can we do at home?
Yes. So children, as beautiful and amazing as they are, they're also a lot of work. And it seems like you will be doing child's play all day long if you listen to them all day long. But you've got to take time to listen, and you've got to take time to interact with them. When you're on your phone, they're begging for that attention. And I'm not saying don't be on your phone. It's an adult thing to do. It's communication. But take some time to talk, to play, to sing, and to laugh with your child. And even if they're in the back seat of the car, strapped into the car seat, sing, ask questions. What do you see? Inquiry-based brings, inquiry-based types of interaction allows them to answer and see themselves as responsible people, responsive, and capable. So interact with your children as much as you possibly can.
And this almost sounds like, yeah, sure, of course we know to do that, but the way you've explained it, and I understand people giving iPads to their kids and moving on with the rest of their
and
day.
saying, go on and sit there and be babysat by Peppa Pig. And I will
Yes.
tell you, the worst thing you can do is that. You want to make sure that you interact and say, what's Peppa Pig actually doing? So those are things you can do at home, is just make sure that you're asking questions rather than having some medium to babysit your children.
You've been all over the world. What is something about yourself that you have learned about you?
That I'm never lost, I travel alone. I meander through narrow streets and different enclaves from all over the world. And because of the natural propensity for people to just be good, innately good, I've always found someone who can help me find my way back. And so I'm never lost. And so I'm never lost in this work. There are always good people in this community who are able to support me, and there are parents who are interested, there are teachers who are curious. I've got an amazing team of staff members and board members, so I'm never lost.
I love your voice. I don't know how many times I can tell you that. It's just so sure.
Thank you. Thank you. You're giving me all these adjectives that
I'm
I've got to
so
take with me when I
serious.
leave. I'm curious and I'm sure, and it feels so good to be in your presence.
Serious. Sheesh. Okay, we've got Dr. Melanie Johnson here in the building with us today. She's the president of Collaborative for Children. You've got this upcoming luncheon. It's happening on September 26th. One more time, where can people go to attend, get tickets?
Collabforchildren.org. Yes.
Collabforchildren.org. Go there and find out more about how you can support, how you can be a part of a movement that makes a difference for children ages 0 to 5 years old.
That's correct.
And would you ever consider extending that age range, or is this is the main focus? We're gonna stick with that age range.
Well, that's typically the before kindergarten age, so that's our focus.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that we would always just rest there.
Sure.
You know, early childhood goes up to 8 years of age, and so if we need to be there at some point, then we will.
And does Collaborative for Children offer resources beyond beyond 5 years old, or any wraparound services, or any other options that Collaborative for Children offers? Parents, teachers, anything else?
We offer curriculum. We offer all kinds of resources at child care centers, not just the training, but all of the manipulatives in the classroom for children, everything that they need in order to be successful, and business training as well, so that the business can sustain itself. Yes.
This is great stuff. Dr. Melanie Johnson, we do have to wrap this interview up. We'd like to leave fans follow. I know, right? We'd like to leave fans, followers, listeners, and supporters with something inspiring, something empowering, something they can take with them the rest of the day, the rest of the week, and all the way up to the weekend. What do you want to leave us with today?
Don't let anyone divide us as a human race.
And how do we find you?
Collabforchildren.org.
Thank you so much for being my guest here today on the Amanda Sapp Morning Show.
It was certainly my pleasure.
Really appreciate you. Hey guys, look, I'm going to leave you with the same thing I always leave you with. Be the change you want to see, and if not you, who? If not now, when? This is the Amanda Sapp Morning Show, an amazing 102.5 FM. Your do good through good station, where we're changing lives, one listener at a time.